Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sonya's Prep. In this week's video, I'll take you along on our Purim prep this year. This year we have a very cute, theme. It's going to be a magician theme. So if you guys don't know, Purim is all about hidden miracles. That's why all the Jewish people usually dress up in costumes. We give gifts to one another, hence this. We also give tzedakah, which is charity to the poor. So I'm going to take you along this week and share with you how I prepare. I'm going to be sharing with you how I make my Hamantaschens with a little hack to make it very easy, how we make our traditional Chibureki for the holiday, and how I'm going to be making our Mishloach Manot for this magical theme. So let's roll up our sleeves and let's get prepping. Let's get started on making the Chibureki. Chibureki is this traditional meat-filled patty full of flavor that I grew up eating on Purim, that my husband's family grew up eating on Purim. Not sure why, maybe because they made it in the shape of a triangle, but as you'll see, the shape can be any variation of that. It could be a square or a triangle, but it's something that people would make right after the Purim fast, and they would eat it, fry it up, and enjoy it. So let's come along and I'll show you how I make it. These are the very simple ingredients that you need for Chibureki. For the dough at least, I have half a bag of flour over here. This is all-purpose flour. It's basically about 2 to 2.5 pounds of flour. Then you need 2 cups of warm water, 2 shots of vodka, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and a 1/4 cup of oil. I'm choosing to do mine this time in a mixer, but you can definitely do this by hand. I'm gonna be adding in all of the ingredients at once. So half a bag of the all-purpose flour. I will reserve about a cup just to see if I need to add it later on. 2 shots of vodka. This adds bubbles to the dough, and you'll see that when you fry it up, it's gonna have this really nice, beautiful, bubbly texture. 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar go in, 1/4 cup of oil. And now slowly, as the dough is being mixed, I'm going to be adding in the 2 cups of warm water. So far I've added in 1 cup. Let's see how that goes. The dough has finished mixing. Let's take it out. Feels great. I'm gonna take it out now from the mixing bowl and give it a good mix on the table. And you could definitely use the dough hook attachment. I would have used it if I had it, but I lost it. I have no idea where it is, not a clue. I guess there's a pantry monster that stole it. I have no idea. But it worked just fine with that attachment. The dough is supposed to feel very, very nice, comes together beautifully. I'm going to let it rest for about half an hour to 45 minutes, and then we'll get started on rolling it out. But in the meantime, let's work on our meat filling. To make the meat filling, we're going to need 1 onion and about 2 pounds of ground beef or lamb or a mixture of whatever type of meat that you enjoy. While I peeled my onion, let's go heat up our skillet so it's nice and hot and ready for us to fry in. To the skillet, add in about 3 tablespoons of avocado oil or any other neutral oil that you prefer. The oil is ready. Now let's add in our onions. Once the onions have browned like this, you could add in your meat. Break it apart into small pieces. Add in all of your seasonings. I prefer to add in salt, black pepper, cumin, coriander, and some garlic powder. Mix again. And wait another 10 minutes or so until everything is cooked through. Now that the mixture is fully cooked, I'm going to transfer it to a bowl. And I do that because when you're going to be placing this meat mixture on the dough, you want to make sure that it's at room temperature, otherwise it's going to melt that dough. The dough has rested, the filling has cooled, so now we're going to roll out this dough, and I'll show you the technique that I actually got from Bella Davy, Cooking Kosher with Bella, where you roll out the entire thing and you put your meat and just drape everything over, and it's very, very quick. So let's do this. I sprinkle my table with flour. Put your dough down, sprinkle some more flour, and roll it all out. As you see, I try to roll it out into a rectangle or square as best as I can, making sure the edges are thinly rolled out as well. And now it's time to fill. Now you have something like this. Half of it's not with meat and half of it's with meat. Now bring this dough onto the meat now. Just unsticking it first. Okay. Okay, and now pinch all of the sides closed. Bring it corner to corner, edge to edge, and close it up. I'm using something like this to cut the dough, but you could use a regular knife to do the same thing. To look like. I'm just going to cut this edge also to make it look more refined. Peel that off. So now all the edges look nice and pretty. Oopsies. There we go. Now it's time to fry up our chibureki. So we put up a skillet. I'm using the biggest one that I have, and I'm gonna fill it up with a nice amount of oil because it is going to be almost deep fried, but this should do.
Go to my stop. I'm like, bus driver, I really need a bath. And he's like, I'm gonna go pee.
Yeah, that's for the chibureki are all done. They're beautifully crispy and bubbly on the outside with a delicious savory filling on the inside.
Amen.
Really good. Delicious. for those of you who don't want to go through the trouble of making this dough, you can definitely use egg roll wrappers to do the exact same thing. You could just make them into triangles and they'll fry up the same way. There's just something really special about making the dough from scratch for Purim. It just has a little bit of a different texture. Really good. Everyone knows that those little triangle cookies are very synonymous with Purim. They're called Hamantaschens. While a lot of us can do the triangle shape, many of us struggle with it spreading and everything oozing out and not looking as pretty, which is very disheartening. You work so hard to get these beautiful Hamantaschens and they look perfect when you put them into the oven and then somehow it flops. Even though I do have a great recipe and I've never had an issue, I will link that recipe down below. I figured this time around, why don't we do something a little bit different? Very easy, very simple. It's basically inspired by the dulce de leche thumbprint cookies. So I'll take you along and show you how I do it. It's like ridiculously simple. So into a food processor, we're going to be adding in 4 sticks of butter or margarine or any kind of parve butter replacement. You're going to add in about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 1/3 cup of sugar. So that's 1 cup, and then 1/3 cup, and about 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna let that mix now until it's all mixed. Always cleaning as I go because it then becomes overwhelming. The butter is beautifully creamed now. I'm just going to scrape the sides of the bowl. Mix it once more. Now at this point, I'm going to be adding in the flour slowly until it's all incorporated. The flour is mostly all incorporated. I'm just going to be scraping the sides of the bowl once more just to make sure there are no white bits left over. It all sticks together and that's how you know it's ready. The dough's made. It looks so good and soft, comes together very nicely. I love this recipe that we don't have to roll it out between 2 parchment papers like initially we always have to do with Hamantaschens. You just take a cookie scooper, scoop it out, and just like a chocolate chip cookie, you're going to place it onto your baking tray. After your dough has been scooped out and looks like this, you're just going to refine it a little bit by rolling it between your hands. Now all of the edges are smooth. Place that down onto your cookie sheet, and basically I got 4 trays out of this. So there's about 12 on each tray, so 12 times 4, 48. I need to go back to school. Now flatten out each ball like this and shape them roughly into a triangle, smushing it down and shape into a triangle. Then take your finger and push it down and refine it. That is it. Do that for all of them and they're going to look just like this. I chose to leave this tray just with the actual thumbprint in it. Now we're gonna bake them in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. This is what the baked Hamantaschen now looks like. So some of them I put in for 15 minutes and some of them I put in for 20 minutes. So as you can see by the coloring, this is the 20-minute one, this is the 15-minute one. Depending on how hot your oven is, just check on them, make sure that it is to your liking. You could still see the indent in all of this, in all of them. Maybe if I do this way, you could see the indent. And now we're going to be filling them with anything that we want. So if you want to keep them dairy-free, obviously you would use dairy-free options, or just use parve, or just use dairy, whatever it is. These are the ones that I'm going to be filling them with now. Personal favorite, the caramel. Now, either in a microwave or in a double boiler, take about a tablespoon of coconut oil and about 1 cup of chocolate chips and melt that. Now is the fun part of where you can decorate them any way you'd like. I'm gonna do some confectioner's sugar on the fruit fillings. These circle ones are just for fun. This is just for the family before. The chocolate flavor is going to get some colorful little sprinkles on top. Now we're just going to drizzle it over the top. I'm very happy with how they turned out. So this is definitely a great hack for those of you who always struggle with pinching them in. They're just perfect. Let's look at this one. So for the basket, quote unquote, for the magician thing, we got these little like top hats, so like magician hats, and inside of it, this is what so far I've come up with, and I need some help from you guys. So we got pretzel sticks that I'm going to be placing into plastic like this, and these will be like wands. They come with a little tie. Then I also have tricks cereal, like get it, like magic tricks, you get it. Then I have like disappearing candy, instant noodles, and instant oatmeal, because like in an instant they can be made like magic. And I also have this cinnamon magic tea. How cute. Now these are pop little chocolate chips, like get it, pop, like magic. No, sort of. And what else? I think that's it. I don't know if I should include anything else. Let me know in the comments what else you would include in here. And I'm going to probably like wrap it up somewhat like this. So I got everything in bulk. I got most of the stuff from Amazon. These are the oats, the cinnamon magic tea, candy bracelets, the mini chocolate chip cookies, the ramen noodles, the pretzels, and I couldn't find this anywhere else. I had to get this huge box of 96, I think, from Amazon, which is very sad, but I really wanted to include this because I just thought it made a lot of sense in the Mishloach Manot. So this whole bag are all of the costumes. Party City in our area was going out of business. I don't know if that's like all the Party Cities, but ours was. And so Shai just stocked up on everything. So he got everyone gloves, like magician gloves. He got all the boys ties. Some are red, some are black. And these are the capes that we're going to be wearing. This is, I guess, for me, not the dress, obviously, just the cape. My girls are going to be having this dress. I don't know, I mean, we've tried it on, it looks okay. And with the top hat and everything, it just looks really cool as well. Shai is going to be wearing this magician cape. So I think it's going to come out really, really cute. You guys have to stay tuned for the pictures. I hope we all have a very magical Purim from my family to yours. Also wanted to give a huge shout out to Yona's Sweet Treats for this gorgeous basket. For those of you who don't know, my husband is Yona Sweet Treats. He does Purim baskets and they are gorgeous. This is just one of them. He does offer delivery in the New York area for orders over $100. I will leave his information below.